So as you guys know, they've just recently announced the welcoming of the Mongolian horde. I am shook. I cannot make this up. The entire community was shook. The second the message dropped in the update log, everyone freaked the hell out immediately. I was not expecting him to actually act on the Kamakura period. The actions they're making allowing the era to determine the plot of the game makes this my new favorite project on Roblox. But you know what isn't my favorite? The fact that I ignored the fucking update log for 2 days straight, remaining unaware of this for a full 24 hours plus, and continuing to post my video without a clue in the world that the whole reason of my content is completely pointless. But I'm not that pissed, because my video received a shout out from Rev himself on YouTube vids, giving the video way more support than I was expecting. So I want to give a thank you to the Opulence community for supporting my video. But let's stop for a second and just shift our attention to this comment. The Mongols are approaching. The region is doomed to a fate of savage, raping, murderous invaders painting the land with death and fire. Kublai Khan craves the archipelago and the civilization that roams its surface. Okay, I am very excited to see what they do with the invading Mongolians. The models, the mechanics, the weapons they'll use, how this will affect the game itself. So many questions and possibilities of what is to come. Now, I thought Blood Samurai 2 could possibly take place in an actual region in Japan, but I was expecting it was safe to assume that the game is somewhere fictional. But now that it announces that the Mongols are within pissing distance of invading the entire area, I want to point out that we may have a specific location for where BS2 is. Now, it is without question within Kyushu. If the Mongols were to attack at any time, it would be on the shores of Kyushu. But if this isn't a fictional third invasion in an alternate reality, we should very well be within the region of Fukuoka. The Mongols invaded the area again on their second expedition, so it would make sense if they riddled the area with them in Blood Samurai 2. But I didn't mention that it could very possibly take place on the island Tsushima or Iki. Both islands were invaded during the Mongol invasions and were claimed by the Mongolian military, so that would be even more interesting considering we'd be trapped on an island full of pillagers. And it would actually make a little more sense than if we were to take place on Fukuoka, because the Mongols weren't necessarily riddling the Kyushu region. They were mainly stuck at the bays of Nagato and Hakata, and I'm not gonna lie, this is really adding on to the Ghost of Tsushima vibes. By the way, all three of these locations I've mentioned share a similar climate where they all snow in the winter, identical to the location we are currently in BS2. However, the entire second invasion raged throughout the summer of 1281, so it's still possible this could be a fictional invasion taking place in the winter. Now, getting into the Mongol update, we should talk about what the Mongols could potentially look like, or what they do, or what role they play in the game. They actually could not even be a hostile AI in the game and could be a playable faction or something similar to a race or something. That would be pretty cool, but in my opinion, I'd rather them to exist to primarily pose a threat to any players traveling throughout the map. I'm positive they'll add new armor and stances along with the incoming Mongols that you could learn and purchase. As I was scrolling through the Opulence Discord community looking for opinions on what could potentially be added, I found an idea, credit to this user, that when the Mongols invaded, they sieged and set claim to the primary village, disrupting all quests that could be assigned to you in that town and converting the area into an extremely dangerous environment for the player. I was actually amazed when I read this and have to admit that I never thought of that outcome. I think that would actually be really cool, and if that was added, I would not be upset in any way at all, because you know, we lost all of those freaking quest opportunities. It is possible that cavalry could be added in the game along with the Mongols, but in all honesty, that's pretty unlikely, considering the extremely mountainous terrain in the map. There was also another idea I found, that there could very well be a new quest added that aims you to kill a specific number of Mongols for some good cash, which I'm almost positive that is going to be added in the incoming Mongol update. Silent7140 shared his opinion about a concept where every certain amount of time the village gets raided and you are forced to fight off the raiding horde, receiving a reward if you successfully repel the invasion. This would also be an extremely interesting mechanic in the game, and I actually really hope this will be added. The possibilities are low, I assume, because that seems a little too complicated for a game like Blood Samurai. Something I've wanted BS2 to add since the public test was released was a variety of weapons and classes like the old game, and I feel like the Mongol update is a perfect route for that concept. Even if they don't add new weapons for player use, they absolutely should add different weapons for NC OTP Mongol use, like bombs, gunpowder related weapons, and bows especially. Bows for the samurai use as well, since, you know, the bow was the primary weapon of the samurai. I'm still staying by my prediction that they will add a cast referring to the kamikaze that hit the army in the second invasion. If they don't, I'm uninstalling the application itself. One final note before I end the video is that a lot of you in the community either didn't know what or who the Mongols were, or were sharing false information about the Mongol invasions. So I just want to clear up that no, the Mongols were not scary, savage pillagers, at least not in this period, even though that's what I said in the first part of this video. Ignore that. Yes, the Mongols did reach Japan and actually claimed a few surrounding islands of the archipelago both times. They were not wiped out by a typhoon before they could even reach to land twice. That would be just stupid. And for people who don't know what they were, all I'm going to tell you is that during this period of Blood Samurai 2, the Mongolian Empire was overextending their territories, conquering many nations and making a lot of them their vassals. Japan was one of those nations they wished to conquer, but fortunately they failed. So anyways, that'll wrap things up for this video. Remember to prepare yourself for one hell of a show, because the Mongols are coming.